There you go. Thank you.
Perfect. So tell me who you are, even if you want to do a little brief history or whatever.
That's fine.
Take your own take, and what you do here at MCAT.
All right.
And just talk a little bit about that.
My name is Asaph Adonai, and that's my real name. It's a Hebrew name. Because some people might think it's a stage name or something, but no, it's Asaph Adonai. That's my legal real name. And I am the host of 2 shows through this MCAT studio. I am the host of a show called Asaph Cafe. That is a show where every week I invite a guest, and the guest just talks to me as I play the piano about whatever they want to talk about, no matter what it is. And it's funny, some of the funny things we've talked about. We've even had Emmett on a lot. Like we had a debate. Emmett had a debate with Scott about what's a better series, Star Trek with William Shatner or Star Trek The Next Generation. You know, just fun things we talk about while I play all that Sinatra dinner music. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah. We've talked about Wonder Woman. We've talked about Mail Order Brides. People come on the show, they talk about their dogs, their cats, their hobbies, you know, whatever they want to talk about. And Emmett, it's fun having him on because he presents a more delightful point of the show. And what I wanted to mention about Emmett, I think he has the best show on the MCAT network, first of all. And I really respect that. So when he's on my show, he has a different persona, I think is the way to describe it. He does his surreal jokes, which I think is really funny.
Which we can show. Oh,
yeah. And he just has a more of a delightful part of his personality on the cafe, you know, because the cafe is not like in your face, more like his show is. So I just wanted to say that about Emmett. I just think that it's good that he can present that delightful side and the more truthful side with his show, which I like that. So just wanted to mention that. That's why I wanted to share this with him. But getting back to the cafe, yeah, this is just such a fun, delightful show. And it's so funny when people talk about on this show while I'm playing, you know, I might be like playing Night and Day, something like this. You know, Sinatra's Night and Day. I'm going to stop right there. Or I might play Mick Jagger's Painted Black, which you've heard me do. I'll do a piece of that there. Short version of that song. But this is such fun. My relationship with this MCAT studio is just such a delight. And this Asaph Cafe is such a delight in my life. The other show, when I want to tell how I got acquainted with MCAT. Back in 2014. Did I say that right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah, 2014. Yeah. Before I met Emmett and, you know, Christian and all the rest, I came in on a general, just getting information about the MCAT studio. Joel Baird was here at the time, and he was telling me what the procedure is for doing a television show at that time. And he said, he made a comment, he said, you know, if you do something like, say, a Lawrence Welk show, you know, you could do whatever kind of show you want. And when he said Lawrence Welk, the on switch came on at that moment. And I said to Joel at that time, hey, I like that idea. And so Joel says, okay, if you can put a Lawrence Welk show together, we'll record it. I went home that night and I started writing the script. This was in July of 2014. And by September, we taped it. We taped the show called Music with Asaph, which is a remake of the Lawrence Welk show. And that's how my relationship started with MCAT at that time. And then I had 3 hours filming time when we did the promo for, you know, saying that we were about to record this new Lawrence Welk show. And so I just blurted out, welcome to Asaph Cafe. And that was like, and it was just an accidental idea. And so that turned into a television series from that Lawrence Welk promo we did. And that's how Asaph Cafe got started.
Wow, that's awesome. So
And
it's been
yeah.
a couple years now. So
Yeah, I'm starting my third year.
Oh. I know your story, but tell our general audience. You've told people on your show, but
well, yeah, I've been doing this since I was 10 years old, playing the piano. And I won't do a lot of stuff. Let me do a few excerpts to give you an idea. Now, normally I'll do like, you know, your Chopin, your regular stuff. But there's not a big demand for that. Like, for example, here's a piece of the Prelude in E minor. You may have heard me play this before.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? And it sounds something like out of a movie. I'm going to stop on that note, you know. Or I might do something like, you've heard me do this, the Prelude in C by Bach. I'm going to stop there. But see where I'm going with this is like when you're in a cruise ship or a piano bar setting or a hotel, they normally want to hear all that Sinatra dinner music, I call it, instead of the classical music. And so what I do is I take some of the popular songs and make them sound classical. And then you get your classical music and so on, like when I did that Painted Black. So that gives you an idea.
That's amazing.
But anyway, getting back to your question, yeah, I started when I was 10. And this is a true story. My father used to drink alcohol when I was a little boy. And I don't endorse drinking gin or vodka, anything like that. We were living in Taiwan. We flew back to the United States, and my father was stationed at Langley Air Force Base up there in Hampton, Virginia. And my father used to drink gin a lot or vodka. And every time he'd leave the house, he'd come home with something brand new, like a toaster, dishes, clothes, towels, whatever. Every time he would do that in the morning, he'd come home and drive my mom nuts. So one day he was really feeling good one morning when he was drinking. He came home with a brand new piano. That's how this whole thing started in my life as far as the piano and music. And so again, I'm not endorsing alcohol. I'm just saying that's how it started. And my mother just cried. She had a fit. What are we going to do with this brand new piano? I mean, it was brand new. We're not talking used. Because my father, he wasn't like rich, but he was very comfortable, you know, being in the Air Force for 20 years or whatever it was. And so my mother was too poor to have the piano taken back, so she started dusting it off, and it became part of the family, and I started messing around with it. And then 2 years later, or maybe it was a year later, when we moved to Sacramento from Virginia, that's when I got formal training, and the rest is history.
Wow.
That's a true story. That's how that started.
Like live turning lemons into lemonade or whatever. If it
Well,
was
it's
that.
funny how God works, you know, and again, I guess in this case, the good Lord using some vodka to get this piano to me, and that's how it started.
And one of my, I'm interested in is my curiosities. Is
Okay.
Like how when I was talking and how you talked about briefly how you when your first day you walked in here.
Mhm.
One thing is, what made you come down? Did somebody tell you about this?
Yeah, my next door neighbor was dating a guy at the time, and he said, Asaph, you ought to go down to the MCAT studio. I was like, what's that? And he said it was, you know, Access Television, and he told me where it was located. And at first I kept putting it off, and he kept mentioning it, so I finally acted on it and went down, and been blessed ever since.
Rest is history again.
Yeah, history again.
And you've had maybe talk about because I didn't talk about this on Emmett's thing, but Emmett
Okay.
also started doing guests and had some pretty prominent guests on it.
Yeah, I had Mayor
Sadler,
John.
I think was one of the big ones.
Who?
What is it? Sadler's his name.
Oh,
The
yeah, I
school
remember
board
that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so maybe briefly.
Well, I
just
had
talk
Mayor
about-
John Ingen on the cafe when we did our 50th Asaph Cafe. We invited him. And then when we had our 100th Asaph Cafe, we brought him back. And then you guys were showing clips of past cafe shows and stuff. But see those two brick walls over here? I don't know if you can see
Yeah, I'm
them.
gonna pan to him right now.
Yeah, see these two brick walls? This is how I got started with Asaph Cafe, with just these two brick walls. And it evolved to 3 brick walls, and then it eventually evolved to, I think we did a couple of location shows, and then the green screen technology. So that's kind of my history of Asaph Cafe. But I feel very blessed to be part of this show, or I should say this studio, this show too in the studio. And then of course, when Emmett started appearing on the cafe, the people that were watching his show started watching my show. And they see the other side of Emmett, and so we're not here to save the world like Mighty Mouse, you know.
Yeah.
Here I come to save the day. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember Mighty Mouse?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Now,
Yeah.
I have a question too, based on like we were talking. If you took away, I want you to answer this question.
Okay.
The way you can.
Okay.
It's a hard question, but I think it's pretty easy to understand after
All
I
right.
explained it to you.
All right.
Because you kind of got prepped on it. If you took away, there is the atmosphere of MCAT, but if you
Right.
took away the tech part, like the cameras and the equipment,
Okay.
what would be left?
I don't think there'd be anything much left. I mean, from my observation, it would probably be more like radio something, like you wouldn't be able to get your point across like Emmett talked about, or I wouldn't be able to do the green screen technology to present Asaph Cafe. Like we've put ourselves on I Dream a Genie. Remember that television show? We put ourselves in Genie's bottle with the real Barbara Eaton in the background for the green screen technology. Emmett and I were on the bridge of the Enterprise. Captain Picard's Enterprise. And let's see what else. The Gong Show.
Oh yeah.
Land of the Giants. We put ourselves on Land of the Giants and the Time Tunnel. That was one of my favorites. You remember the Time Tunnel? That was so fun. But the point I'm making is, to answer that, I wouldn't be able to do the green screen technology and put ourselves on television shows of the past, for example, or just even a regular set of the green screen. Like when you and I were on in that cafe with the brick walls. Remember that?
Oh yes.
Last year? Just stuff like that. There'd be no Asaph Cafe. There'd be no music with Asaph Lawrence Welk without the cameras and all the other stuff here.
Yeah, so you need that. That's great that you're
Yeah.
talking about that. Because
Yeah.
MCAT serves that purpose to help you.
Yeah, there would be none of that,
Yeah.
There'd be no playing the piano on the show, and of course playing the piano for your events, like when you had your 25th anniversary and things like that. So
Yeah, right. And then here's
Yeah.
another swing of the question
Sure.
too, which goes both ways. Like a lot of people have said, like how Emmett has kind of touched base when you said you come in here. We became friends. You made
Yeah.
friends at
Yeah,
MCAT.
yeah.
You made like how you met Emmett. You've seen that.
yeah,
side of
this
Emmett.
is like a family setting to me if I had to describe it. I mean, Scott and Noel, who's no longer here, of course, and of course Emmett's here still. This whole MCAT studio has just been like a big family. I mean, you could talk like you said, you could talk to Joel about personal things if you've got a problem. And it's been fun having Joel on the show too. He's the general manager. Like when we put ourselves on the Price is Right, remember that? And we had Bob Barker in the background. That was so fun. But it's just a whole family setting. You can talk about personal things here. You can express your views on television. Of course, my show is more comical, so we're not doing that sort of thing on the cafe. But once in a while, we do a serious thing. Like when we did that tribute to 9/11. Remember that?
Yeah.
We did that tribute. So, but normally the cafe is more of a fun, delightful thing because you have children watching and things, and But it's the same thing with them. It's a family setup, and you can just meet people, have fun, call them at home, go out and have a pizza or something,
Right.
and just fun things here.
And too, when you're saying that, like you could talk about personal stuff, which we all do.
Oh, yeah,
We'll,
yeah.
like, get to know each other's like, oh, this is happening in life.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to me saying, you know what, right now I'm dealing with this right now. I'll be like, man, I understand, or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of like advice. We'd be giving each other advice, even though we're like, maybe we're not experts at it, but we're just giving advice, general help.
Right.
Or that one time when my grandma had a stroke and you stopped and you went, okay. let's
I
go.
remember that, yeah.
It was just like everybody just kind of helps each other out, no matter what you believe or whatever. So my thing is too, you touch base on the family part of it, and you also you'll stop in sometimes when you're not doing a show and just talk and hang out too.
Yeah.
When you came into MCAT, do you feel like when you leave today, is there things like every day you leave away from MCAT, do you feel like you've gained friendships and other
Yeah.
more than just the tech it gives you?
Yeah, I think MCAT to me, like Emmett said, is like a big family, And I'm very humbled to have people like yourself, Christian, and all the other people that have helped me. And of course, also, I have to acknowledge Scott and Noel with their show, Wake Up Missoula, because they gave me the opportunity to do those Asaph stories on their show. And that's a lot of fun. And, it's like reporting the news when they do Wake Up Missoula. The only difference is I'm playing the piano very softly in the background where they're actually doing city council news or whatever other news. And then when they get to my segment, I just tell stories.
Right.
That's it, yeah.
It's exactly.
I tell stories,
Little filler thing.
Yeah, I tell stories.
So like basically, if you like say if let's say MCAT's gone, I'm not trying to be negative. This is not a negative documentary. And
Right. No, I understand. Right.
And I'm sorry, and too, like how Emmett, like where we have to repeat our answers and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's why it seems repetitive. So it's okay if you feel like you said the same thing over and over.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah.
That's for the editing.
But you get it from my point of view instead of Emmett's view.
I
so
love it. Yeah, and this is great. So, like, if MCAT was, and I'm not saying it's gone or anything, but if it like wasn't no more,
okay,
what would you remember? Like, if you reflect on it, like, what would you?
Okay, I would remember what I think I can answer that. I would remember what MCAT did for me, if that makes any sense. You know, like, let's say Wake Up Missoula. You know, I've taken those news stories and I'm attempting to get a job with ABC telling those stories. That's something that MCAT would have left. And then in the memory of the cafe, which of course is the biggest delight to me, like I mentioned. And I'll be able to always show that cafe to people if MCAT weren't here, and maybe present Asaph Cafe to say another network. Maybe you never know. So that would be something that MCAT would have left me if they closed, but you guys aren't closing, so don't say that.
No, we're not saying that.
No, we don't want to go there.
No. But it's almost like you're like, if I'm listening, like in the whole general and the heart of it, what you're saying is MCAT has been that, which I hear a lot, the analogy of a stepping stone.
Yeah, it's helped me get my chops, keep my chops up. Not only playing the piano, but getting in front of a camera and hosting. In my case.
Right.
Because I'm hosting those two shows, so keeps your chops up, and I appreciate that. So thank you, MCAT.
So it also helps you network with people.
That's it, and then I get to, like Emmett, I get to put this stuff on YouTube and that sort of thing. So it's a lot of fun. And we had a wedding here too. We had a real wedding here.
Right.
And that's never been done at MCAT. I mean, I'm not taking credit for it like Emmett. I give God all the credit and the glory for that, but and along with the other things too. But yeah, we had an actual wedding here, and we had a live audience right on this corner here where the brick walls were, and they came out through that back door over here, and there was a minister here, and it was real.
Yeah.
So that was good for not only my show, but it was good for MCAT and what is it, public having an actual wedding here at the studio. So
it almost sounds like I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but it's like you paid it forward, you helped somebody else out.
Yeah.
That helped you out.
Yeah. Well, actually, how that actually came about, the bride to be at that time had seen my show, and she said, "I want to get married on that cafe." That's what she said. She contacted her fiance. He said, "Cool." And she doesn't even live in Montana at the time. So obviously, because her fiance had been on the show, had been on the cafe a few times, so I think he had showed it to her. And she just said, "Hey, that's where I want to get married." She came all the way to Montana, all the way to Missoula, Montana, to get married on the Asaph Cafe. So
That's awesome.
that was pretty cool. And Emmett helped me host that, so I was really happy about that. I was really, really happy about that.
Yeah. And like, here, because I got you guys on it too. Most
Cool.
of the time it's been like a kind of a wide shot, and I did briefly.
That's
but I just
fine,
didn't
yeah.
want to use the camera too much.
That's fine.
So now I have a full on again wide shot for both of you.
Clear my throat real quick.
Yeah, because I cut to Emmett while he's sitting listening to me interview.
That's fine. Yeah, I wanted to share this with Emmett just to do the delightful stuff. Hey, you want to tell one of your surreal jokes? That might be fun.
This is the first surreal joke I ever made up in high school. I made up these surreal jokes with washers and dryers because I love that. It was junior high. I don't remember. There were these two washing machines, and they saw a hat in their way. One said to the other, "Is that in your way?" And the other said, "No, it's in your way, and it's blocking my view." Ha ha ha! Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah, see, stuff like that. So that's the other side of Emmett, which he tells these surreal jokes on the cafe. It's just so fun. And I always play that song. Yeah. Yeah, and dishwashers and washing machines.
And isn't that it? So right there, you guys are touching the base of something very important, what I see. And this is what I see. And some people have said it just out loud. Like what you've basically been saying, like when you say, "Have my back," thank you for MCAT, family, environment. I think could you guys kind of reword what I'm going to say somehow?
Okay.
MCAT lets me be myself.
Exactly.
Can you guys reword that? Say, MCAT lets me be myself?
He has his show, which is more intense. I have mine, which is more comical, but it works. It really works.
Could
and
you say
there's
that though? MCAT lets me be myself. Is
yeah.
that okay?
Oh, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Let me be myself.
Yeah, where's that
Another
camera?
thing about-
MCAT lets me be myself too. There.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, you don't censor my surreal jokes. The fact that I've fired lasers on my show, I can be myself.
Right.
You don't say, well, Emmett, you can't act weird. You've got to act like a normal person. No, I don't. On my show, I'm not a normal person. because
Well,
this is
what I like
I'm
about
not a
Emmett
normal
is he's
person,
himself.
period, you know?
He's himself. See, and that's what works. The surreal jokes, it works.
Yeah.
Because I get feedback all the time from the cafe because of Emmett, and I have to thank him for that. I have people started watching this show because of him.
Yeah.
More people, I should say.
And now it's probably going to go both ways. Cause
Yeah.
people love your show, too.
Yeah.
I think it goes. I think, and two, you're helping out other people and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a selfie with you guys because it looks so cool.
All right.
And I'll let you guys have this too.
Well,
Oh
the
yeah,
other thing
cool.
is,
Yeah.
I forgot. A
Cool.
lot of
Can you
people-
get it?
Yeah, I can. Look at that.
All right.
There's the camera in the shot.
All right.
Cheese.
Jeez.
Yeah, a lot of people who've seen my show, The Awful Truth About Society, have thought that I'm acting a part, that I'm just
Right.
being a punk rocker for that time and doing this as an actor. I'm not an actor. This is who I am on my show. This is what I am on Asaph's show.
Right.
You're getting what you're seeing. I'm not acting or making stuff up, you know. And
Yeah. And
Right.
you're gonna have that image too. We get that Lawrence Welk show started
yeah.
too, but it'll be
Yeah.
a positive thing. Like for example, when we do a Christmas Lawrence Welk, I want him to be his punk rocker reading, say, the biblical account in
Yes.
Luke 2 to children
Exactly.
on the show.
Mhm.
That presents I think a more positive,
yeah.
different
but
image.
that's what I would have done anyway.
Well, no,
if
I
could
realize
have
that, yeah, and that's kind of the idea. I want to use his character
Right.
when we do that.
Well, and he said he was talking about like you guys get to be yourselves, like that's
Right,
so
right.
ironic. You go to a place that's about punks, and they're like, "We don't want you to be a punk. Shave it off, or
Yeah.
put a suit and tie on." Can you not be yourself? Like
Exactly.
And you're not the only one. Even Joanna
Yeah.
Champo, who I interviewed, I
Uh-huh,
think you
uh-huh.
might have met Joanna briefly. She said the same thing. She goes, "It's not your traditional work environment. It's if it was, it wouldn't be." I forget what she said exactly.
It wouldn't be MCAT, it wouldn't be a place to work. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Scott has said the same thing. He can be himself. Scott Ram. Hopefully it's okay. I'm saying your guys' name behind the camera. I think they don't mind.
Yeah.
They're on television. But and same with Andy briefly touched base on that too. So because he
Yeah.
started here years ago, like and that's how I met you guys.
Mhm.
Well, any closing thoughts, Asaph? Because we're coming up to. You did a half hour about too, right? 24 minutes.
That's
so
fine. I would just say,
Get
I
a
go.
close up on you.
All right, I'm going to borrow Emmett's words. Give God all the credit, all the glory to God, the Creator, Jesus Christ. That's who I want to.
Absolutely.
I want to borrow that idea from Emmett
Absolutely.
and thank Emmett personally for being part of my show and making it fun. And of course, thank you yourself, Christian, and everybody else connected with MCAT. Those would be my final words and give me an opportunity to produce a television show and be on television. So those are my
You
final
don't have to
words.
worry about me editing that out. 'Cause I don't
No,
think
that's fine. And then I'm going to
We're
say,
gonna
like I
edit out
say,
some stuff that we have time for another day, but you guys will have.
and then of course I'm going to say, like I always say, until our next show, Maranatha.